1, 2, 3, 4. Hey Team Internet, I just wanted to throw up a quick video, and I'm not doing anything fancy here because I haven't put something up in a long time and it's sort of past due. The main reason for that is that I've been pretty busy lately. I'm actually heading off to college in like 2 days. It's a long drive. I'm not telling you where I'm going. It's a little secret. But I've been packing and getting the register stuff done, and it's just taken up a lot of my time. And on that note, I was kind of wondering if anyone has any advice for my first week of college, which is kind of daunting as it gets closer. And it's in a city I've never even been to before. And I'm still not 100% used to living in America anyway, so it's going to be a little bit crazy. Another big change is less important, obviously. It's an aesthetic change. I cut off all my hair. Well, not all of it, but a lot of it. So that's different. I like it, though. It's much easier. I'm kind of low maintenance, so. But what I really wanted to talk about was something interesting that I did this morning. I try to remain relatively active in politics, at least having an idea what's going on. So this morning I went to a town hall meeting. It was a pretty big one. There was probably 500 people there. And it was really good. It was with a representative. I'm not gonna say who because I'm all mysterious where I'm from. But he was a Democrat, and it was informative and it was good, and liberals and progressive people were definitely in the majority, but it was also very enlightening about this weird hole of knowledge that there is. And the town hall meeting was mostly about healthcare, which I think was an issue that could change America on so many levels. I think I read that it affects 6% of the economy as well as everything else, but it's just, some people were making really good points. One man stood up and talked about how the single-payer option, which is sort of now off the table, unfortunately, is working so well in Canada. And the guy who suggested it in Canada, I forget his name. I should have looked this up. I'm sorry, but anyway, he's loved over there. He's revered. He's a good guy. And as someone who grew up in a country with socialized medicine and traveled around all these countries in socialized medicine, I just have to say it's great. Here, I had a little accident, and a couple weeks ago, I was on a water slide, and I kneed myself in the face, and I bit off part of my tongue. Tongues heal fast, but you can't even see it anymore. It's not really a big deal, but they told me to go to the doctor because I might need a stitch. My tongue, I didn't, but when I went there, we had an appointment. It was with my family doctor. We waited 90 minutes, and thank goodness we have insurance, because literally, I was in the doctor's office for an hour and a half, but I was only with the doctor for probably less than 5 minutes, because he just had to look at it and tell me that it didn't need a stitch. But it cost over $100. And if we didn't have insurance, I can't imagine. I mean, that's the state of healthcare for someone who has insurance and someone who has the ability to go to a doctor when they bite off a piece of their tongue. But lots of people don't have that. It's 47 million people are uninsured. And I don't know, because when my sister was in, I think it was Germany skiing a long time ago, and she hurt herself, and she had to go to the emergency room. I think she broke her leg. I wasn't born yet, this is why I'm hazy on the details, but her healthcare there was free, including a stay in a hospital, and she's not even German, and I don't know, I think it's a shame that we can't provide for our people the same way that all these other countries can, and it's an inherent ignorance and fear that doesn't let us switch over, because I was in London visiting a friend, and I had an issue with healthcare. I asked a question. I'm not gonna go into what it was, but I called the NHS, the National Health Service, and they have a hotline, and I just called them, and they answered my question with no problem, and it was free. It's even a free number, I think, and it's just great, because if there was a problem, they would have told me where to go to take care of it. And we're so afraid here of the word socialist. And someone yelled it in the town hall, like they were talking about single payer option, and someone from the back yelled, "Yo, socialism!" And okay, there was a lot of like laughter and sarcastic clapping, which I thought was a good response. But at the same time, there are lots of people that agree with that, like that think it's socialist. And it's ironic because these socialist countries, quote unquote, like France and England, were our biggest allies in Iraq, and and then someone shouted after that, "It's good enough for Russia," and I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Like, okay, I don't think that Russian politics are good, especially lately, they've gone downhill, but what is that? That doesn't even... People are so afraid of the word socialist, and they're so afraid of big government, that there are so many institutions in America that are socialized. There's the post office, there's like the police system, education, and while these are imperfect systems, they would be much worse if they weren't socialized. So government is there to serve the people, and if you're that afraid of big government, I don't know how to respond to that, because if it's not there to help us, then what's it there for? And there's another sign that's like, it's not about healthcare, it's about government, like, working its way into your life. That's not what it said, that wasn't very catchy, but it basically had that message. And although they had a very large sign, I still stand firm that it is about healthcare, because in the next 60 seconds, 4 Americans will lose their healthcare coverage. And there's so many things, I don't know, okay, this is turning into a long video, so I'm just going to get to the point. My point was, there was a news crew there, and they were interviewing people who were coming out of the room. But they were interviewing the far right, like, crazy people, because they were the loudest, and they were the most interesting. They're not taking the views of the majority, they're taking the views of the loudest people there, because they're the most sensationalist. And in this, like, media culture we have, where it's like a tabloid media, even the mainstream press is like a tabloid. They're not representing the views fairly, and I'm kicking myself for not taking my camera, because I mean, it was really early, so I wasn't thinking straight, but it doesn't matter. I mean, I feel kind of bad for these people, because if I was as ignorant as them, I would be scared of a lot of things too. And I had a question. You're supposed to write down your questions on a card and submit them, and my question was, why are we bending over backwards for bipartisanship at the cost of legitimate healthcare reform? Because we lost single payer, we're losing maybe a public option. What are we doing? We're not... And people are worried about the cost, and this one guy stood up and he talked for like 3 minutes about the different costs of Medicare and the reforms, and yeah, that's a valid point. It's not cheap, and we are going to have these institutions that we're liable for, like Social Security and Medicare and the reform. But where was he when we were getting into $1 trillion of deficit during the Iraq War, and still now? I just think that these people aren't... It was really informative, it was really frustrating. And anyway, that's enough of my ranting. I didn't get to ask him a question because it was drawn randomly. It was only an hour and a half. But I think that if you have a town hall meeting near you, one, don't bring a gun, because if you've seen these reports of people doing that, that's just crazy, and it's a very bad idea. Like, oh, standing up for my rights. Yeah, you have a right to carry a gun, but don't be stupid. By the way, don't even get me started on gun control. It's like, anyway, 1, don't bring a gun. 2, just go. Like, I don't care what I do care what your opinions are, but both sides should be there for a positive debate, and don't break down into yelling and stuff. Okay, I'm running out of time. Go to your town hall meetings, be responsible, be active, and be safe. Bye.